Welcome to SVL Free News, another big week here in Statesville and Iredell County. And this week I'm here in front of the Greater Statesville Chamber of Commerce. We've been doing some candidate interviews. You know, the midterm elections are coming up in November. So Mike Fuhrman and I have been doing some interviews with some of the candidates. You'll be hearing two of those today. But first, let's thank our sponsors, Mitchell College, Randy Marion, Piedmont Healthcare, Blue Harbor Bank, Fast Fields, Key to Escape, The Escape Room, Statesville Family YMCA, and Crossroads Cycling. Coming up this week, as I've reminded everybody, we have on this Friday and Saturday, we have the Haunted Tours of Statesville. Get your tickets now at downtownstatesvillenc.org. It's always a good way to learn about some of the history of Statesville. Also, of course, this is the 45th edition of the Carolina Balloon Fest. It's coming up this weekend, so another chance to go out to carolinaballoonfest.com and get your tickets for that event. And one of our sponsors is actually going to be there. Key to Escape is actually going to have the escape room out there set up at the Balloon Fest. So go out there and do that. Smokey Joe's musical review is this weekend at Twisted Oak American Bar and Grill, and they also have a matinee on Sunday. So there you go. Okay, so we're here at the Greater Statesville Chamber of Commerce, and we're doing some candidate interviews. On today's edition, we have two folks running for the Iredell County School Board District 7. So let's take a listen.
The Statesville Chamber of Commerce is happy to partner with Statesville Free News and present the candidates for District 7 Iredell Statesville School. And remember, it's important to vote, so go out and vote.
Thanks, Brian. I'm here today with Jennifer Christian, who's a candidate for Iredell Statesville Schools District 7 School Board seat. Jennifer, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll have a few questions in a minute, but I'd like to give you the opportunity first to make an opening statement. Introduce yourself to the voters.
Sure. My name is Jennifer Christian, and I'm a candidate for Iredell Statesville Schools District 7. And I am a passionate supporter of public education. As a product of public education and with two children in Iredell Statesville schools, I feel that strong public schools equals strong communities. And I plan to build upon the existing foundation and maintain that and build going forward. I have experience leading public and private boards and serving on public and private boards. And I think that experience lends itself to working with others and hearing different viewpoints, hearing from families, hearing from teachers, school principals, working together with them, the community as a whole, certainly working with other members of the school board and the school district, and working hard to put the students first every day. We have 20,000 plus students in Iredell Statesville schools, and doing what we can to support those teachers who make a difference each and every day in the classroom for our students. So that's why I'm running.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes.
First question. What's your assessment of the current school administration, the leadership team, and the work that they've been doing?
Sure. Well, I have great respect both for our staff that work at the district office as well as our school board, and I think that they work tirelessly to support our students and our teachers and staff. An example of that would be a recent grant that the staff worked hard to secure that will help those that are coming from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, and unfortunately that background does tend to translate to school performance. So I think that's exciting. That was a creative way to find some additional funding to help support those students in middle and high school so that they are ready for the world and bridge any gaps that might exist. So I think that we are looking at creative ways to educate our students every day. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say are the top issues facing the school board for the next 4 years and areas where you would want to devote your time?
Sure. I would say that the top areas would include, retaining and attracting quality teachers. Studies show that one of the most important factors in success of a child in the classroom is their teacher. So to retain those and attract quality teachers, especially with the teacher shortage and less folks entering college pursuing that degree. So that would be my number one. Number two, making sure, as I mentioned, the 20,000+ students in our school district, that they have the resources they need to be successful in the classroom. And number three, taking a look at student safety and secure buildings, but that's not only buildings, but looking at mental health, counselors, and other services that our students might need.
Okay. Now tell us a little bit about the unique experiences in education that you would bring to the board to help tackle some of these challenges.
Sure. Well, I've had an opportunity to serve throughout District 7 schools over the past several years, whether that's at PTO president at Woodland Heights Elementary, PTSO president at Mount Morris School, a couple of the schools within the District 7 area. And I think that is a unique experience, being in those schools kind of at the front line with those that are teaching our students, hearing from teachers, hearing from school leadership, and certainly hearing from students and families on what is needed. And I think that's something that I can bring that is unique and ingrained, and people feel comfortable coming to me as liaison. So I think that's a positive as a board member to have those open lines of communication. In addition to that, I've had an opportunity to have kind of a broader scope beyond District 7, and even in addition to all of Iredell Statesville Schools, kind of county education as a whole. I'm the current chair of the Iredell County Education and Facilities Task Force, and that group of committed community members from all over the county have looked at not only the needs of our educational facilities in Iredell Statesville schools, but also Mooresville Graded School District and Mitchell Community College, so all three of our educational entities in the county. And I think that's a perspective where I've gained kind of a bigger picture view, and certainly have learned a lot about the budgeting process as well. So I think those would be a couple of the things that I could bring to the table.
Okay. Now, finally, big referendum on the ballot in November would be asking voters to support the quarter-cent sales tax for school safety and security and student well-being.
Yes.
Are you actively campaigning for that? Do you support it?
I do support it wholeheartedly. And yes, I've had an opportunity, all of our schools in District 7, with the exception of one I have attended, had an opportunity to attend presentations so that voters can be informed. There is nothing on the ballot. It's the last item on the ballot, the quarter penny sales tax. Nothing on the ballot says education in there. So in an effort for voters to make an informed choice, to provide them with the information, how would those funds be utilized? How will they be distributed? What would they be used for? So yes, I wholeheartedly support it, and I think I'm not alone in that, actually. We had each of those three entities I mentioned before: Iredell Statesville Schools, their board, Mooresville Graded School District Board, Mitchell Community College Board of Trustees, as well as unanimous support from our county commissioners. So I think in our community there is support, knowing that this is a fair way to raise some funds, much needed funds for education. This is something where people driving through and going to Walmart will help support this. It is a sales tax as opposed to property tax, so kind of everyone helps contribute. There's no tax on groceries, no tax on gasoline, no tax on medication, no tax on farming related purchases. So I think it's very fair, and it helps to, it's a 1/4 of 1 penny. Again, the wording on the ballot can be a bit misleading.
Right.
It's only 1/4 of 1 penny.
Right.
So I support it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to answer our questions, and good luck in the election.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Brian. I'm here today with Richard Carver, who's running for District 7 seat on the Iredell Statesville Schools Board of Education. Richard, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Now, I have some questions for you, but I thought we would start with giving you a few minutes to make an opening statement, introduce yourself to voters, and what issues are important to you in the race.
Sure. My name's Richard Todd Carver. Most people call me Todd. I'm from the Mooresville area. Grew up in Mooresville. Lived there all my life, except when I was in the service. I was gone for a few years in the Air Force. In 1995, began my career with the Mooresville Police Department. 2000, I switched over to the Sheriff's Office. And after that, have been there ever since. I've raised 2 children. I'm divorced and remarried. I have a son who's 20, who's in the Marine Corps. My daughter is 17, she's a senior at Lake Norman High School. So I like to say I have skin in the game as far as the school system is concerned. I spent a lot of my career going into schools, checking on schools, ensuring the safety and security of schools. So I've been involved in that process for a number of years. I live in Mooresville. Like I said, I live in the District 7 area, down off of Sundown Road. Been there for a long time and not looking to go anywhere. My reason for getting into the race was that there was no one else had filed to run for the seat. And I was afraid that maybe there would be an appointment done or something along those lines, someone who wasn't from the area. And so I threw my name into the hat. There are two main points that I would believe that need to be addressed as far as the District 7 representative. And obviously that's safety and security of the schools. And I think that my unique perspective with my employment would allow me to contribute to the school board on that. And then the second and nearly as important objective for running for the school board is I believe there needs to be more accountability in how the revenue that's brought to the school board is spent. I think their budget needs to be, there needs to be more disclosure with the budget, with the process, how the money is going to be spent. Most people don't mind giving you the resources that you need to accomplish a task if you'll tell them what you've spent the money on. And so those are the reasons that I decided to get into this race.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll move on to a few questions. Kind of big picture, how would you assess the work that Iredell Statesville Schools is doing as a district? Obviously, you mentioned your son came through the district and your daughter's a senior now. Do you think the district is accomplishing its goals in terms of preparing students to go to college or to enter the workforce?
I think that they are. I think we're getting a pretty good value for the dollars that we're spending on the school system. I would like to see, like I said, just a little more accountability on the part of the district as to exactly what you're spending on, where those tax dollars are going. I also think that it depends on, somewhat where you live in the county. In District 7, I would say that we have, some very, very good schools down there, no doubt about it. Some of the other areas of the county, it could use some improving. But by and large, the district as a whole, we've got an award-winning district. We've got an award-winning superintendent that we need to get going in a little bit different direction.
Okay, well that kind of leads us into the next question. Superintendent Johnson has, I think, 2 years left on his contract, and then he'd be eligible to retire. You say a little different direction. Are there different ways the district could be using the resources that it has now, or different priorities that you would hope to establish as a member of the school board?
I think that from the outside looking in, my perception of it is that the Iredell Statesville school system is a little bit top heavy. There's too much being spent on management, whereas we need more Indians, as the saying goes. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. I realize it's a large employer. I apologize for that. I realize that anytime you've got a company or a business with 2,000 plus employees, you're going to have a strong management team. I would just want to get down in there and look at the nuts and bolts of that and make sure that we've got the right people in the right places for the right reasons.
Okay. So what would you say are the top issues that the school board's going to face during the next 4 years?
Probably the same ones we've faced in the last 4 years. And number one is safety and security. I think that's a huge priority, not only for Iredell Statesville school system, but for all school systems across the country. And we need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to have addressed and mitigated those problems. And then secondly is funding. Not having enough resources. I think we're getting more and more mandates out of Raleigh for forced expenditures that come with no funding, and it's left the county with, hey, how do we fill this gap? And those are going to be constant challenges that the school board needs to be willing to address.
Okay. You've talked a little bit about your background. Anything else that you would want to mention in terms of unique experiences and education that you'd bring to the school board to help solve these problems?
I feel like that, yes, there is, because I consider myself to be an educator. I'm an adjunct professor at UNC Charlotte. I've been an adjunct over here at Mitchell College. Been involved in the educational process a good bit. I love teaching. I consider myself, that's probably, I would have been a teacher all my life probably had it not been for going into the service. It's a calling, and I enjoy that calling. I enjoy the work of helping to educate people. Other than that, being a father, being involved in my children's educational experience, I've enjoyed that. very much. I had to work, so I didn't get to go to every PTO event or anything of that nature, but I went to as many field trips and things of that nature as I possibly could to try and be part of that experience for them. And I'm proud of the product of that. So.
Okay. And finally, last question: do you support the quarter-cent sales tax for that'll be on the ballot? The money will be used for school safety and security and student well-being. And are you letting other potential voters know how important that is, or maybe that you don't support it?
I do support it. I think we do need that funding stream. I think all the commissioners agreed with that we needed that funding stream when they agreed to let that be put on the ballot. My problem with the quarter-cent sales tax, and to answer the rest of your question, yes, I have been telling people, if anybody asks me, that's exactly what I tell them, is I do support it because I think we need it. The problem I have with it, and the problem I hear a lot of people with it, is not disclosing what we're going to spend it on. I mean, safety and security is a pretty broad area, you know, and I think more people could get behind the quarter-cent sales tax if we said, hey, we're going to put one in every elementary school, a school resource officer in every elementary school, or if we said, hey, we're going to only be able to put 6 school resource officers and 3 SAPs, and you know, but we give folks a quantity and they know what they're getting for what it is they're buying. And I think that's what I'm talking about at the very beginning, sort of to come back full circle, is that people will support, pay for items if they know what they're getting, but don't just hand them a pig in a poke, so to speak. So I think that's the problem. I do hope it passes. I will vote for it. I know that puts me at odds with a lot of my Republican base, but that I feel like that's the best decision. And so that's the decision I will make for myself.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, and good luck in the election.
Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all taking the time.
Okay, so there you have it. We're going to be doing some interviews with all the candidates in the local elections here up until Election Day. So get out. If you haven't registered to vote, do so, and get ready and start voting early soon also. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Remember, Haunted Tours, Balloon Fest, and Smoky Joe's Cafe at Twisted Oak American Bar and Grill. All 3 things to do this weekend in beautiful downtown Statesville. If you haven't done it already, go to svlfreenews.com and sign up for your email edition every morning. Get your email edition every morning at 5 a.m. So have a great week, get your tickets, and we will see you on Friday.